It was a rainy Thanksgiving Eve, back in 1971. Northwest Orient Flight 305, a Boeing 727, was getting ready to take off from Portland, Oregon, heading up to Seattle. On board was a man who, well, would soon become the stuff of legend. He boarded with a briefcase and a one-way ticket under the name Dan Cooper. He was calm, polite even, ordered a bourbon and soda as the plane taxied for takeoff. But Dan Cooper was not who he seemed. Not long after takeoff, Cooper handed a note to a flight attendant. It read, "I have a bomb in my briefcase." The note went on to demand $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes. The flight attendant, clearly stunned, passed the message along to the cockpit. The pilots, doing exactly what they were trained to do, contacted air traffic control and got ready for an emergency landing in Seattle. Meanwhile, the passengers had no idea what was going on. They stayed calm, thinking it was just some kind of routine delay. Word of the hijacking spread like wildfire. The FBI jumped into action, pulling together the ransom money and the parachutes Cooper had asked for. When the plane landed in Seattle, tense negotiations followed. Cooper kept his word. He let the passengers go in exchange for the cash and the parachutes. But the crew? They stayed on board, just as Cooper had instructed. He told them to fly south, toward Mexico City, with a refueling stop planned in Reno, Nevada. With the ransom now in hand, and the passengers safely off the plane, Flight 305 took off again. The aircraft climbed into the dark, stormy skies over Washington state. Cooper, still calm and composed, laid out his next set of demands to the crew. He wanted the plane to fly at a low altitude, at a slow speed, and most unusual of all, he insisted that the aft stairs be lowered mid-flight. The crew, understandably shaken, followed his instructions. They still had no idea what Cooper was planning, and their eyes kept drifting to that briefcase, the one he claimed held a bomb. Tension filled the cockpit as they flew through the unknown. And then, somewhere over the thick forests of southwestern Washington, it happened. Cooper, with $200,000 strapped to his body and 2 parachutes on his back, calmly walked down the rear stairs and vanished into the night. He was never seen again. The crew, after confirming he was gone, landed the plane safely in Reno. But the mystery of D.B. Cooper, that was just getting started. The FBI kicked off a massive manhunt. Hundreds of agents were sent into the suspected drop zone, a vast, rugged stretch of wilderness. They searched the forests, combed through rivers, and even took to the skies. But despite all that effort, they found nothing. No Cooper, no parachutes, and not a trace of the money. Years slipped by, and the case started to go cold. Then, in 1980, something unexpected happened. A young boy, playing along the banks of the Columbia River, stumbled across a bundle of $20 bills. They were badly decomposed, but they were confirmed to be part of the ransom money. The discovery gave new life to the investigation, but it also brought more questions than answers. Had Cooper survived the jump? Was he some kind of trained skydiver? Or was he just incredibly lucky, only to meet his end alone in the wilderness? The FBI chased down lead after lead for decades, but they never identified D.B. Cooper. And the rest of the money? Still missing. The mystery lived on. D.B. Cooper's bold hijacking left a lasting mark on aviation security. It led to big changes: mandatory passenger screenings, metal detectors at airports, and the installation of something called Cooper vanes, a simple device that stops the aft stairs from being lowered during flight. Even without a clear answer, the D.B. Cooper case continues to capture the public's imagination. Was he a criminal mastermind? A gambler down on his luck? Or maybe just a thrill-seeker chasing one last adventure? The mystery sticks with us because there's no closure, because the crime was so daring, and because, well, we're drawn to the unknown. The story of D.B. Cooper stands as a powerful reminder of how some mysteries just won't let go. It's a tale that gets whispered in bars, debated online, and puzzled over by amateur sleuths. The truth, just like Cooper himself, remains out of reach, lost in the shadows of one of America's greatest unsolved crimes.